you still haven't really addressed why Donald Trump is knocking down the White House for his own.
Well, he just hates America.
That's what I've been reading.
Right.
Yeah.
And how crazy excited the left should be that he's knocking down something built by slaves. They're like, we got to preserve that. That's slaves made that. It's weird.
I actually do have questions about this, though.
What question do you have?
Well, like, and they come from everybody's source of thinking these days, which are group texts that I'm on with some friends.
Right.
Like, I have really basic questions of, like, I feel like there'd be like a conversation and a bill passed if we were going to put a giant new building at the White House, but
nope.
That's not how it works at all, is it?
Nope.
How does it work? How does this work?
You ready?
Yes.
So the president says, I want to change the White House.
Okay.
And the White House architect says, how would you like to change it? And he says, this way. And they say, okay, well, you need to approve all the permits. Okay, I approve all the permits. Okay, we change it. That's literally how it happens.
Really?
Yeah.
They can do anything they want.
Well, I mean, within reason. I mean, when I say within reason, I think with restraint from public outcry. Like if I want to paint the White House black, as president, you can do whatever you want, but I don't think that will fly with the American people. So there are some standards in there, but I'll tell you about a conversation I had with Trump next. Stu is like freaking out about the White House.
I'm not freaking out. I just think it's an interesting. I thought there would be more of a process to something like this.
Nope.
Because I do not think at this point the American people understand what is about to happen, which is like the White House is about to double in size.
Uh-huh.
Just by my eyeball look at it, it looks like it's going to maybe be more than 2 times the size.
It's going to be large, but it's not the actual White House. It is part of the East Wing.
That's a totally misleading commentary.
No, it's not, because the White House is the original piece from the 1700s. Okay, that's the center house. The East Wing and the West Wing was not done until FDR. They were added later.
But,
the biggest change to the White House in the last, since FDR, and it happened in our lifetime, right after 9/11. The White House became enormous, but it was all underground.
Okay.
They completely changed everything underground. And
yes,
we didn't have a conversation about that at all.
Well,
and this
because it's underground. I assume all sorts of things are happening underground.
Yeah.
Our well-known monuments and buildings.
Sure.
But this is a it's not a they keep saying this though. They're going to be changing the West Wing. That's not what they're doing.
East Wing.
The East Wing. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're going to be changing the East Wing. That's not what they're doing. This is like doubling the size of the White House. Now, I'm not opposed to that idea. I'm just sort of surprised that it wasn't like a big conversation and a bill and
all right. You ready?
Yes.
So was Donald Trump.
What do you mean?
So I'm in the White House with him, and I'm up in the private quarters with him, and he's showing me some things that he is doing and talking to me about some other things that I can't talk about because he doesn't want. I don't know why.
He doesn't want to discuss it.
I didn't want to discuss it. And I don't know why, but because it's all really good stuff. But anyway, so we're talking about it. And then he brings up the ballroom. And we're walking down the stairs from the residence, and we're going into the ballroom. And he says, there's the ballroom that Abraham Lincoln had dinner there. And I said, it's that window over there that Frederick Douglass opened up the window and had to crawl in because they wouldn't let him in because he was black. And Abraham Lincoln's like, let him in. He's my friend. Why is he coming through the window? And we were talking about all the history of the ballroom and that it's very, very small because it was built in the 1700s. And we keep using that ballroom. And he's like, you got to have a bigger ballroom. We have it out in the wet and the cold and the rain and yada, yada, yada. And so he said, we come over to a window, and he's like, right there, I got to build a big, beautiful ballroom. And it's going to be better than anybody thinks. It's going to be the biggest, most beautiful ballroom. And I'm like, I just try not to laugh, because that's the way he describes it. And he said, I was surprised I could do that. And I said, I bet. How long is that going to take? What's that process like? And he's like, right? That's what I asked. He said, I went to the, I don't know, chief usher or somebody, whoever's in charge of the White House. I think it's the chief usher. He said, I think we should have a ballroom. And he's like, what do I do? And he said, well, you just have to talk to the architect. So he went to the White House architect. Now, this is the guy who makes sure the integrity of the White House stays. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't make it into a modern house. Okay. You're not going to redesign the inside and say, oh, you can add some gold, I guess. You can add a lot of gold, I guess, but you can't make it into like, you can't wreck the integrity of the White House. And he said, I just put these flagpoles in. And he's like, all I had to say was, I want to put some flagpoles in. And they're like, yes, sir, where? He's like, what? And he's like, one in the front, one in the back. And they're like, okay, just tell us where. So he went out to the yard and was like, right here, right there. And they put them up. And so he's talking to the White House architect, and he said, we got to have a ballroom, and I think we should have it over here in the East Wing. You should have big, beautiful. And he said, but what is this going to take? And he's like, well, it's going to be very expensive. Are you expecting the people to pay? And he's like, no, I'll raise the money for it. I'll pay for it, and I'll raise the money extra, so American people are not going to pay for it. And the architect said, well, then all you have to do is sign the permits. And he's like, what? And he said, well, you have to go through the permitting process. And he said, how long is that going to take? And he's like, well, the president is the one who controls the process and signs the permit. So as short as you'd like it to be, Mr. President. And he's like, are you kidding me? And he looked at me and he's like, I'll have this done by spring of next year. Mm-hmm. So he can change it. What you have to understand is the East Wing and the West Wing, those are FDR. So FDR went into a works project and he added those wings. The East Wing is where the First Lady's offices are. You just, the East Wing is like, it's just the East Wing. And it's okay.
Are you showing shade at the East Wing?
Yeah, I am. But anyway, and so what he's doing is he's taking some of it down and he's going to link it to the ballroom. And the ballroom is going to be the biggest, beautiful ballroom in Washington, D.C. It's going to link from there. So you'll walk, if you're in the White House, you'll walk from the front door through the dining room, or the East dining room. You'll go into the East Wing, and you'll go to the ballroom.
I'm at the renderings as we speak, and that's exactly.
I've not even seen the renderings.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
No, I just had him describe it to me. Can I see it?
No.
Oh,
they're mine. Secret. It's my computer. Okay. This is the. I can't obviously show it to the people here, but you can see it over here.
It's big, beautiful. What a surprise! The tables are golden.
Yeah. By the way,
it's amazing.
It's different.
Holy cow!
My conversation about whether this is the you can't. It's already zoomed in. That's what I mean. They're not the best images.
There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that? It looks just like the white. It fits. It's appropriate.
I was in the middle of saying, it's my conversation on this is not whether it looks good or is appropriate or anything. Like, I actually think his point on the ballroom is so obvious. Every president should have been making it. The fact that we don't have a big room to have state dinners in. Right. I mean, unless you wanted to do them off campus somewhere else,
right? You
have to have that, and why not have it at the White House? It makes a lot of sense.
You I don't want to pay for it. As a citizen, I don't want a dime going for it. You know what? Hey, all you Frenchies, you can eat on the lawn. Literally on the lawn. On the lawn. We just throw the food
we don't even have a blanket.
Out on the lawn. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. But if he wants to pay for it, if he wants to get rich people to pay for it, go for it. I don't want any of my tax dollars going to it.
Right. So my criticism is not how it looks or that we need it. They showed the inside of it, and it seems like the type of facility we should have for these types of events. We're going to have them somewhere.
Yeah.
Why not have them there? I think,
and who better to build it than
Donald Trump,
one of the best builders of all time.
We've had this conversation about how you project American power.
Yes.
And I think Trump's approach to, particularly, we've seen it in the Middle East, but I think it's been effective around the world, of these trappings actually are effective in diplomatic relations with other nations. It's not like just Donald Trump has a lot of places that are lined in gold. He can have meetings.
Yes,
it's not like that's what he wants it for. The left tries to portray it as, oh, he just wants a big. Of course he does. He wants this big. No, it means something to him, and he knows how these people think.
No, because I asked him. I won't tell the whole story. I really want to, really desperately. But you know, he's gilding everything, and that's not necessarily my favorite look, you know.
Right.
And he came in. Tanya and I were alone in the Oval for a while, and we were talking about it. And he comes in. He says, "You know, I'm doing all this. You see all the gold?" I'm like, "Yes, I can't miss it. You can't miss the gold." And he's like, "You know, it's so important. These foreign leaders, they all come from palaces, and they don't understand. And I know, you know, the White House is different, America's different, but they understand power in a different way." And he said they're coming from these old countries and these big buildings and these palaces. And he said it is important for us to project power.
Yes.
And that is why he's doing it. It's not because he likes gold. He's doing it to project power and wealth. Notice how many prime ministers, they're all flying in all the time from all over the world. You know, I've never seen a president meet with so many foreign dignitaries in the White House all the time.
Yeah, and the media likes to say, well, that's because he's self-important. And
he's projecting American power.
I think so, too. And when I say it's important to him, that's why it's important to him. Because he believes it's an important tool in that world.
It's not him. He knows the language they speak, and not just body language or, you know, spoken language. All of the entire, that's what protocol is all about. It all means something.
And so my criticism, and it's not even criticism, my observation is not whether it fits or whether we need it or whether it's appropriate or I don't think my observation here in the group text that we started this with was just that, like, holy crap, I don't think the American people have any idea what's about to happen. Like, every time I bring this up to Glenn, and you have to understand how the conversations work, I say people are going to look at the White House and it's going to be like totally different. He's like, oh, President Tyler did more than that in 1940. Shut up. That's what I get from Glenn. Oh, well, there was more changes underground. You don't understand the piping. They totally changed the piping back in 1807, you moron. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. What I think of, and you know, FDR made these changes. My whole life, it's been the same pretty much from the outside. I know what the White House looks like. You go up there, you look at the White House, it looks like the White House. It is not going to look like the White House when this is over. It is going to look like the White House plus another White House. Next to it. And it's going to be, I think, massively impressive, but like, I'm surprised there's not more conversation about the differences.
When's the last time you were in Washington, D.C.?
The inauguration.
So you would not believe the difference in the White House grounds. The difference from, you know, when I went with George Bush, you could stand right at the front gate.
Right.
You can't do that anymore. They've taken the park. The park in the back is all gone. The security, everything, all of the trees, everything that has been done to not see the White House except for that iconic front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything else is not really, you don't see it like you used to anymore. You don't walk up to it anymore.
I mean, I was in town for the inauguration. Last time I actually walked by the White House has been a long time.
Oh, you won't recognize it. I mean, just driving by and seeing it. Now, you'll get pictures of it and everything else, but walking by it, today, you wouldn't recognize it. It's what has happened with security is so sad. I have the bell from the White House front desk. There used to be a little desk right in the front, right as you walk in. There was a desk and a bell, and I have it. I think it is from Tyler's administration. And you'd walk in and you'd hit the bell and you'd say, "I want to see the president." And somebody would say, "Okay, all right, sit over there." And you would wait. You might wait all day, but you can walk in without an appointment and see the president of the United States.
Oh my God.
You're not getting in within 2 blocks of the White House now. It's sad. It's sad what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, and for good again, I wouldn't disagree with that either. It's for good reason, security-wise.
Yes,
but I think of back, Glenn, the classic. I think what everyone thinks of when they think of the White House is, of course, the scene from Superman 2, where
try to remember
where they show the White House, and it's supposed to be a motion picture, but they were too lazy to actually get video footage of the White House, so it's just a still, and you can tell because there's like. Things that should be moving that aren't moving. Yeah. So
is that because
I think that's Superman
on
2.
Independence Day they blew it up?
It could be. It could be that.
I mean, they only had a picture. They hadn't rebuilt it.
Independence Day is another good example. Like you have that picture of what the White House looks like, and I guess from certain angles it's still going to look pretty much the same, right?
Yeah,
from the front, you're not going to notice it because it's kind of wrapped around the back. But like that, the back is pretty iconic too. It's not going to look like that anymore. It's going to look, in some ways, a lot better and more impressive, but it is a major change that when you say, hey, they're redoing the West Wing and putting a little ballroom in there, that's not what they're doing. Sorry, East Wing. I hate Glenn.
I'm only saying it because I know how much he hates
you.